Hello everyone and welcome back again. Now in this lesson we're going to continue working on our OpenGL application. So Control 5 here, and this is the latest thing which we had since the last lesson. So as you can see here I have a white triangle. Now let's try to make stuff a little bit more interesting. So basically we have a white triangle. Let's have some sort of color into it. Let's just make it a little bit colorful at least. So basically, if you would like to color a certain vertex or a certain object, you have to call gl color. Okay, and do not pick up the 3b. Please pick up the 3d. So this is for the normalized kind of colors which you're gonna punch in. So you're gonna punch in colors from 0.0 to 1. Okay, so you can have like so 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 for RGB, excuse me, for RGB you have then you're gonna have gray. Okay, so basically 111 is gonna be white. So 100, this is gonna be a pure red triangle, and it's not only a vertex, it's triangle, because we said already that OpenGL is more like a state machine. So basically when you say that when you call GL color, immediately OpenGL will start drawing everything based on the color which you already specified. So all of the three vertices are gonna follow that color unless you specify different thing. So for example, I could come over here and say GL color 3D, and then I'm gonna punch in here 0, 1, 0. Okay, this is for green, and for this vertex as well I'm gonna punch in color 001. Okay, so right now I have full green for that vertex, I have full blue for that vertex, and I have, full blue for that vertex, full green for that vertex, and full red for that vertex. So Control F5, and as you can see here I've got something like rainbow kind of triangle. Okay, so this is for example how to color your vertices. Also, it's quite interesting, for example, for some people who are not comfortable working with like ranges from like from 0 to 1, you have gl.gl color u I believe it was 3 and u b. Right now you're gonna pass in colors in terms of 255. Excuse me, let me just see over here, 255, 255. So this is pure white. Okay, so from 0 to 255, this is like the maximum. Okay, so 256 per each for each RG and B. This is in case I would like to punch in numbers like that. Okay, shift delete that. By the way, shift delete is more acting like a cut, I believe. So and it actually takes out the whole line as well. So this is one of the keyboard shortcut keys that could be useful for you in Visual Studio. Okay, now let's move forward there. Let's, for example, right now we could color our objects. Let us try to move them around. So, and of course, before I move them around, let me show you how to draw even different type of objects. Right now we draw on a triangle. What if, for example, we would like to draw a square, cube, let's say. So a square or a cube. So right now you cannot, you don't like, or you won't use, for example, triangles. You would use something else. But before I do that, let me grab in here MS Paint, and let us see over here. So this is our coordinate system, and if this is gonna be your square, okay, forgive me if it is not accurate. Okay, I'm just drawing arbitrarily here stuff, and there you go. Now if this was, okay, let me have better control over my mouse over here. If this was y and this was x, now the coordinate of this point is gonna be 1 and 1. So 1 for x, 1 for y, minus 1 for x minus 1 for y, this is going to be -1 for y and -1 for x as well. So x minus 1, y minus 1. And here is going to be -1 for x and 1 for y. Okay? So this is for a square. This is like it's specifying these points. Okay? Now if I come over here, in order to draw a square, first thing you have to specify, you are telling GL quads. You are telling OpenGL, I'm going to draw quads. That means that if you're going to pass the first 4 vertices, which you're going to see, so you pass, let's say, 10 vertices. The first 4 vertices, which OpenGL is going to see, it's just going to make out of them a face. So it will immediately show you a face. If you are using triangles, it will see the first 3 vertices and make out of them a face. Okay? So in this case right now, quads, right now if I hit Control F5, I get a black screen. Because OpenGL expects from me one more vertex to specify how the face will look like. So basically, let me adjust my coordinates here as well. So I'm gonna copy this, Control C, Control V, 1 and 1, and I've just mixed the color here. So I mixed between red and blue. Okay, and okay, so I need -1 and 1. So this is for the first coordinate right now, so I'm going to punch in -1 and 1. Okay, and in here I'm going to punch in 1 and 1 for the next coordinate, and we're going to punch in, so 1 1 1 -1, so 1 and -1, and last but not least I believe we have -1 -1, so -1 and -1. Control 5. And as you can see here, I've got a strange kind of square, which colored very interestingly in this corner. But anyway, this is how to get a square drawn in front of you. This is actually right now a polygonal face. You can in fact start right now drawing cube out of it. So cube is 6 faces, so you're going to have to draw 5 more of these. So in additional to this one, you're going to have to draw 5 more in order, for example, to get a cube out of it. So let me close this, but before I talk about the cubes and other 3D objects, of course we will not pass in any more 2D. If you're gonna write, you know, cube, you're gonna pass 3D. So so it's gonna be here 3 double variables, so x, y, and z. But let's put this aside for a second. Right now, let's see how to move our objects. Okay, so let us have fun and try to move them using our keyboard. But before that, let's see how the functions are working. So before the GL begin, before drawing, try to, for example, say GL translate, translate D. And here I'm going to punch in, okay, I'm going to transfer 0 in X, 0 in Y, but minus, let's say, 3 in Z. So I push the object away from me by 3 units. As you can see here, I've got the square a little bit smaller. This is the good thing about using GLU perspective. So the farther the object's away from me, the smaller they're gonna get. Now let us try, for example, to rotate. So GL.GL rotate, and in here I'm gonna punch in 4 variables. I have the ability to punch in 4 variables. The first variable is the angle, so I'm gonna punch in, for example, 45 degrees. By the way, OpenGL works in degrees, not in radians. Excuse me. So, double X, double Y, and double Z, here you specify over which axes you are going to rotate. So if I put 0 for X, that means that I'm not going to rotate around X. If I put 1 for Y, I'm going to rotate around Y. And if I can put here 0 for Z, I'm not going to rotate around Z. Now, there's a very important thing you have to know, is that these also describe the evolution or the speed of rotation. So for example, right now I'm rotating twice 45 degrees, okay, or thrice 45 degrees. So this is the evolution, okay, of rotation, how fast you're going to rotate. Okay, I could even put here rotate around X and Y simultaneously. So if I hit Control F5, as you can see here, I rotated around X, rotated the object around X, and rotated it in the same time around Y, and then I get some sort of perspective. So let me take off this one, put here 0, Control F5. Right now I'm rotating only around Y, and as you can see here, my plane is rotated a little bit. Now, in order to have fun with it, let's, for example, start controlling this with a keyboard. So in order to do that, I'm going to go here to the designer, and I'm going to select my control, F4, and please select the control, do not select the form. This is the very most big mistakes that usually people do. Please select the form, the control, do not select the form. And in here I'm going to grab on size change. Apparently it was there for a second. Let me see. Oh, okay, not for, oh sorry, not on size change. I'm gonna grab on key press. I don't know what I was thinking. On key down. So here's a small trick. I'm gonna show it to you. So if you right switch and hit tab, hit one more tab. Right now you get the auto-generated code for you, the template. And in here I'm gonna just say E, switch on E.key code. And if I hit enter one more, I'm going to handle the event for all, or I'm going to switch for all the cases of any keys I have on my keyboard. Now, because I'm going to rotate, I'm going to just use the A and D for now. So for A, I'm going to erase everything until A. Of course, I could have typed this, it could have been even faster, but I'm just showing it to you so in case that you are handling so many keys in your application, you're quite lazy to type to punch them down. This is another way of doing it. So let me erase until the default break. There you go. So in here I'm gonna punch in, oh yes, I have first of all to specify one more small variable here. So I'm gonna say double rotate Y equals to 0 for now, and I'm gonna replace that rotation 45 degrees with rotate Y variable. And when I press the A key, I would like to, for example, to say that rotate Y is going to be plus equals 1. So increase 1 degree every time I hold the A key, and rotate Y minus equals 1. So decrease the rotation when I'm using Y. So there you go. So A, I'm right now holding A. D, so this is how to rotate your object using very, very simple keyboard shortcut keys. Now, of course, you can have even much more fun with it. You could, let me just organize this code. You could, for example, start even playing with the translation. So you could, for example, say, double translate variable. I'm gonna put it like translate x equals to 0. And I could handle even for W and S. So, or no, hang on a second. Let it be Z for now. Okay, so right now I'm gonna even modify that Z variable. So for W and S, like in FPS games. So translate Z, and in here I'm gonna have case keys dot W. So I forgot the colon. So I'm gonna have here translate Z plus equals 0.1. It's gonna be fine, and break case keys dot S colon translate Z minus equals 0.1 colon and break. Okay, so this is like for moving forward and backwards. So Control F5. So W, closer, S for shooting it or moving it far, far away from me. Okay, A for rotation. So A and D for rotation. Okay, you could even have fun with it. I could, for example, take the control out of the user and just simply put GL rotate, and here you're gonna have rotate X, for example. I'm going to create that variable 1 and 0, 0, and I could have here something like just for organization purposes, let's put the rotation guys together. So rotate X equals to 0, and in fact I'm not going to even play with it here. I'm going to just simply put it in the every time when it ticks, just please rotate plus equals, oh yeah, plus plus, because I'm increasing 1 degree, so rotate x plus plus, Control F5. As you can see here, I've got, so let me move away, so I've got, as you can see here, I've got a plane that is just simply, you know, like rotating around x and y simultaneously. Okay, right now you can even have more fun with it. You can create your own screensavers and such. Okay, so this is for moving our objects around. This is really quite easy, nothing fancy about it there. You could even have like much more fun with it, even like for example, make the objects glow. So you can make let me just comment these two, and I'm gonna show you a small trick how to make them like as if they were glowing. So basically I'm gonna grab these two first vertices, I'm gonna convert them to red just for you to see, so it's gonna be obvious. So 1 0, Control F5, let's see how this looks like. Red. Okay, let's move forward. So right now I could I'm gonna add one double variable, double red equals to 0, so this is gonna represent my color, and I'm gonna have a Boolean variable called glow. Okay, if before I even control this redness thing, I'm gonna replace this ones with red and red. And let me show you in real time how this looks like. So instead of A and D for rotation, I'm gonna just replace them with red and red, and I'm gonna make it 0.1. Okay, so it's gonna be having a nice transition to it. So Control F5. So it's black right now because red is 0. If you remember from the beginning, red right now is 0. So it is passed in here as 0. Now let me grab here the window and try to hit A, and as you can see here it becomes red. Hit D and it becomes darker, so A and D. Okay, now I could even automate this. I can make it glow like a switch. So for example, I'm gonna have if glow. So if it's gonna glow, if the red is gonna glow, I am going to increase the red color. So red plus equals 0.1. If red is larger than 0 in any larger than 1 in any case, if red keeps incrementing and suddenly becomes larger than 1, please disable the glow. So you cannot glow more than that. Else, oops, red minus equals 0.1, and yeah, forgot the semicolon here. And in case that red is less than 0, then you cannot be darker anymore, and you have to start glowing again. So glow equals to true. Okay, so if I hit Control F5, I'm having really fast glowing over here because I am 0.1. Apparently it's quite big for transition. So let it be like 0.01. Control F5. So right now you're gonna have a really easy transition between the colors. Okay. So it's really quite easy. You can have a lot of ideas you can make out just with using very simple tools. I mean, you know right now, for example, how to color vertices, and you know how, for example, to move around vertices, or move around objects. In fact, this is it. Right now you can actually, you and your imaginations, you can actually create a lot of interesting things. And in fact, once we get into the middle of the semester and having much more functionalities, having texturing on, lighting on, you can even have much more fun. And you can you can have inspirations to do a lot of interesting like screensavers, or you could do, for example, your own particle engine or something like that. So basically this is it. So for example, right now I'm gonna let us see for A, because right now we have, I'm gonna keep the rotation on for now just for fun. oops, not okay, hang on a second. Okay, undo or uncomment, and everything is just fine, I believe. Okay, and I am going to add one more double variable, double translate x equals to 0. So right now we're gonna rotate around all, or not only rotate, I mean move. So this is for translate x, and I am going to modify this. So instead of having 0 here, I'm gonna have translate x. So if I hit Control F5, right now if I hit S, move away, A, oh, I have to inverse it. Okay, D is moving the other way around, so basically close this. So I'm gonna put here minus, I'm gonna put here plus, so we can like have a normal behavior. So A, D, S, and as you can see here, I've got a rotating glowing triangle, rectangle where I can move around in real time. Okay, so I hope that you had much fun. Now, just for you know, for fun, you know, like try to make, for example, a cube. Okay, a cube will be you're gonna have like 6 faces. So a cube usually has 6 faces, not a hypercube, normal 3-dimensional cube, and you're gonna have like 5 more of these. So additional to this, you're gonna have 5 more, so to make up a total of 6 faces. And if you are confused about the coordinates, immediately I've just googled it, and you have here the coordinates for each face. So basically you're gonna have to draw face 1, let's say, and it doesn't matter the order, by the way. Just do not look at the V1, V4 and V3, just do not look at these numbers, okay? Just simply keep it just, you know, keep it that way. Just simply draw the numbers right away without any looking to the order for now. Later on we're gonna understand the meaning of the order and how dangerous it is, but for this case right now it is not. So you right now in the forum, just try, have fun, and just try, for example, to just for training purposes, try to create a cube like this one. So this is the 2nd phase, 3rd phase, 4th phase, 5th one, and the 6th phase. Okay, and you have the coordinates for each, as you can see here, and it's really quite easy to work with. And in order to make your life easier while debugging, you can just add region, and I'm gonna just say this is gonna be the front face. So regions allows me to organize my code a bit. So I'm gonna grab all this piece of code, and because I have power tools installed, I can hit the alt and up arrow key, so I can move the code around. So this is with the power tools plugin or extension. And of course you can collapse here the region. As you can see here, everything is nice and neat. So you can actually add like 5 of these blocks of code inside this GL begin and GL end. You can add 5 more of these, and it will be easier for you to debug. You could in fact even take out the whole GL begin, this part we're drawing this code. You can take it completely and put it inside a class and call this a cube. So right now you're gonna punch in you're gonna just simply create a new object of a cube, and then you can give it a position and then render it. So this is the this is the easiest way of handling even such tasks, instead of having your GL begin and GL end being cramped completely inside the rendering scene. And this is the best practice, and this is what you have to do. Try to separate your objects, which you are going to use several times. Try to separate them into separate classes and start calling them, create them, and render them into your scene. Just for practical purposes, to have a try, give it a try. Try to draw a cube, and then try to separate, after you draw that cube in that inside using that method, try to separate that cube inside a separate class and see what you're gonna get. And probably you can have fun and then have an array of cubes, generate them randomly and put them randomly around the scene. So it's really right now the sky is the limit, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it like I did. See you in the next lesson.